You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what He actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Hello, beautiful people. Happy Thursday, happy Jupiter day, and happy birthday to today's notable Scorpios, including Brittany Murphy. May she rest in peace. We love her. Ellen Pompeo is a Scorpio. Miranda Lambert, Kiernan Shipka, Mackenzie Foy, lots of actresses, Diplo, Josh Peck. Quite a few people to celebrate today. Lily Pulitzer, fun. Tracy Morgan. Wow, it just keeps going. Eve, Sinbad. Lots of people born right before that 11/11 portal. And today I really wanted to start with those birthdays because today does feel like a celebration in a lot of ways. We have a really positive transit, finally, a really positive transit to talk about in today's forecast. So get ready for lots of good vibes today. Corby's here. Happy Thursday. Hi, Rachel. Hey, Katie. Diane's here. Nick is here. The gang's all here and ready for some positive news. How's everyone feeling? Are we feeling the energy lighten up a little bit? Yes. There are still some tense aspects playing out, and we'll feel that. We're going to feel that over the next couple days. I'm not going to lie to you, but the Grand Water Trine happening today is giving us the boost of creativity and flow and ease that we really, I think we all deserve after that eclipse. We love positive transits, Corby says, lighthearted and chill today. Yes, that is the energy I'm feeling. I'm able to roll with things better today, and I'm grateful. Yes. So let's get a current check on the energy and then just dive right into this Grand Trine in water signs, potentially the most positive transit that we can even have in the forecast. We will take it. Right now, the sun is in Scorpio, the moon is in Gemini. So the sun and moon aren't really making any connections with each other. All those planets in Scorpio aren't really connecting in an impactful way to the moon in Gemini. It's kind of this awkward energy between them. But this is giving us a few days with the moon in Gemini to really process a lot of the things that came up from this very intense eclipse, from the T-square that we talked about yesterday. And with all of the water energy that we'll be diving into today, it really feels like creativity and the ability to kind of be more fluid and flowy, as many of you have commented on, can help us process in a lot of ways. So without further ado, let's just get to the good news. Diane says, past few days have been a bit tense here. I believe it, Diane. As we start painting and working on fixing up the room, the ceiling had separated and collapsed in. Yeah, and that was during another full moon or an eclipse or something, right? You guys have been dealing with that for a long time, so I'm glad things are finally getting resolved for you. Chilling out at home, Nikki says, drinking some nice warm herbal tea. Zen day today. That is the vibe of the Grand Trine. Zen. I love that. So we have 3 planets connecting specifically today in what we call a Grand Trine. And if you can take a look at the chart here, if you're joining me on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, you can see very clearly what we're talking about. This big blue triangle in the middle of the chart. This is what we call a grand trine. 3 planets making trines to each other. A trine, remember, is a 120-degree angle. It represents balance, ease, and flow. And we experience a grand trine when planets in each of the signs that are representing the same element, so in this case, all of the water signs have a planet in them that are all connecting with each other. But what's really special about this grand trine, we'll talk about the different aspects that are playing out, but I want you to first notice how many planets in Scorpio are all very close to connecting with Neptune and Pisces on one end of the trine and Lilith in Cancer on the other end of the trine. Lilith and Neptune both move very slowly. So today we have Venus completing that triangle, completing the grand trine, but in the next few days we'll have Mercury and the Sun doing the same thing. So this is like the trine that keeps on giving, the gift that keeps on giving, because we're getting a little boost of it today or a taste of it today, I'll say, and then we'll keep feeling this energy as Mercury and the Sun move through Scorpio. So that's what it looks like. If you're fortunate enough to have one of these equilateral triangles, these grand trines in your chart, it's a really positive and powerful aspect personally and also as a transit that we experience collectively. Because to understand the grand trine, we have to understand just the trine. And for those of you who are regulars here, you know when we talk about a trine, it's ease, it's flow, it's 2 planets working in the same element so they can work with each other very easily. They can talk to each other easily. It's very compatible energy. And of course, when multiple planets in all 3 water signs are involved, the ease is, it's here, it's flowing. It just feels like flow today, especially when we're talking about water. Yeah, Lionsgate, Diane says about her ceiling long enough. That's interesting because Lionsgate during Leo season, now we're in Scorpio season. So when we start looking at these broader cycles of big events happening in fixed signs, it sounds like that was kind of bookends of this whole ceiling experience for you. And I love, as we dive deeper into astrology every day, being able to zoom out and look at the bigger picture of the cycles playing out. Even today's grand trine, you know, when you look at the individual aspects playing out today, it's like, okay, Venus is trine Neptune and Venus is also trine Lilith. But we know that Neptune and Lilith have been in this extended trine for several weeks together. So it's not just the individual aspects that we're looking at, it's the big picture. Okay, so I've explained the grand trine. Now you want to know, what does this mean for me? Like, why do I care about this grand trine? Well, first of all, taking a look at what planets you have in water signs in your chart, if you have a lot of water energy, you're really going to be feeling in your element today. If you have a ton of fire energy, this might be kind of uncomfortable for you to be in so much water. But water energy represents emotion and intuition. So our intuition is certainly heightened today, not just because we're talking about water energy, but also talking about specific planets that really enhance our intuition or represent our intuition, Neptune being one of them. So Neptune and Lilith both have this intuitive component to them, whereas Neptune is more the ability to sense other energy and tap into the subtleties of life. Lilith is that deep intuition, that reclamation of our power and knowing what we want and not being able to be in control. More power than what we normally think of as intuition, but that's part of our intuitive abilities as well. And with Venus completing this grand trine in Scorpio, Scorpio is a very intuitive sign as well, but it adds this element of creativity, receptivity, just being able to really work with the energy and be open to the energy and receive the energy. Yeah, my Scorpio stellium. So if you're someone like Diane and you have multiple planets in Scorpio, you're just feeling all the activation right now with so many planets moving through Scorpio. But also if you have multiple planets in Pisces or heavy Pisces or Cancer placements, today's transit is your vibe. I think we also have to note that Venus is really completing this Grand Trine. So while the Grand Trine, all of the planets play in equally, which is why it's known for balance and good fortune and flow and ease. Venus is the planet that's really completing this, because remember, Lilith and Neptune have already been harmonizing with each other in this 120-degree angle for some time. So Venus is the planet that seems like the focal point of this Grand Trine today. And of course, Venus rules love, money, and beauty. So our relationships, all relationships, not just romantic ones, our relationships can benefit greatly today if we are attuned to our emotions and our intuition and the energy that we're able to feel into with Neptune and Pisces. Life will probably just feel a little bit more beautiful and easier today. And boy, do we welcome that. Our imagination is heightened as well with Neptune playing into this, Neptune being the planet of dreams and fantasy. And it feels like a very inspiring day as well. I kept, when I was writing the forecast and looking into this, just hearing creativity, creativity, creativity. If you are a creative, or if you're a human in general, right? We're all creatives. Tapping into your creativity today should feel really juicy and really good. Late last night, I had 2 shots of espresso at like 3 p.m. And for me, that kept me up until way too late. But as Venus was starting to come into this Grand Trine, and as I was really starting to feel into this energy, I got so much creativity running through me. I ended up doing all of these like mock-ups for event promos a month out, and just, it doesn't matter what I was doing. I was just feeling a ton of creativity. Like I just wanted to create stuff. I did not want to do my like daily mundane tasks. I really wanted to just be in that creative flow. So you might be feeling that today as well. Or if you are trying to use this energy and tap into this energy, picking up a pen, maybe doing some drawing, some painting, moving your body, doing some dancing, that's a really great way to use this Grand Trine. It feels like with Neptune, Venus, and Lilith, specifically in this Grand Trine, there's this perfect balance between dreaming with Neptune, attracting with Venus, and also claiming our power, claiming our sovereignty with Lilith completing the Grand Trine. So it's like a beautiful energy, I think, for manifestation as well, although I wouldn't say this is, as far as the moon goes, like an amazing time for manifestation. We do have the 11/11 portal tomorrow, which we'll be talking about, which is an extremely potent day for manifestation. And we will still be feeling this Grand Trine through the 11/11 portals. So dreaming, allowing your imagination to wander, pushing the limits of what you think is possible, playing into Neptune, Venus being the planet of attraction, you know, helping us harness the law of attraction, stating your desires right now with Venus playing into this. And then Lilith is here. This is this perfect balance we're talking about. Lilith is here to be like, I deserve this. You know, this is my power. I am worthy of this, and really standing up for what's important to us and what we believe we deserve. Knowing our worth with Lilith here. That's a key component in manifestation, not just being like, I really want this thing and it would be really cool and I'm going to be positive and open to attracting it and be in the vibe of it. But if you don't truly believe you are worthy of the thing you're calling in, the universe is going to sense that energy and meet you there, you know, and the universe wants to prove you right. So if you're feeling unworthy, the universe is going to try to prove you right. If you step fully into like, no, I am here to do big things. I'm here to claim this. This is my birthright. This is my power. The universe is going to prove you right. Okay, so that's a key component. And I love that we have Lilith playing into this, there to remind us that we are worthy and deserving of all the things we desire. Rachel says, my moon and Pluto is at 22 degrees of Scorpio. So this adds this emotional aspect to this trine activation. For you, it feels like transformation with your moon and Pluto. Transformation is unfolding for you beautifully under this Grand Trine. And with your moon there, yes, emotions could be activated, but you're a creative person. Use your creativity to process your emotions and allow that transformation to just flow. most of us who have Pluto in Scorpio are likely feeling the effects of this Grand Trine, the transformative effects of the Grand Trine, especially if you have your Pluto anywhere near that 20 to 25 degree mark. You're really going to be feeling that unfolding. When I say unfolding rather than like alchemy or transformation, because there's an element of ease that we keep tapping into when we're talking about this Grand Trine. Yes, I'll have to go do some illustrations. Beautiful way to work with this energy. And with no expectation, creativity with no expectation today. That feels like an important element, just allowing yourself to be creative for the joy of being creative. And that's where beautiful ideas can be born, good fortune can, flow through when we're just in the flow for the love of it, just creating because it feels good. If it doesn't feel good today, it's not the business. We got to let it go because today's about feeling good. I know there's been a lot of tension, but if you're seeing this, this is your full permission today to just allow yourself to exhale and flow, flow, flow. Yeah, love that creative flow for you. Maybe I'll write some poetry today. Yes, great way to use it. That cleared things up. I'm happy that gave you some clarification. Really getting insights of something I want to create and getting those aha moments. And remember, do it for the joy today. I know, with that Virgo energy, we both have a lot of times it's like, okay, if it's hard for me to do things just to do them. Like I've got to have a purpose. There has to be productivity behind it. Hello, Virgo. But Neptune and Pisces is the opposite of Virgo energy, right? It's like doing it for the dream, for the creativity, for the experience of inspiration. Remember, inspiration comes from in spirit, letting spirit move through you. And so that's really what we want to tap into more than, okay, I'm feeling the creative spark and I want to like launch a business. If that comes to, yes, birth it under the Grand Trine. Absolutely. But don't start with that expectation. Start with joy. Rachel says, lately I've been feeling resentful towards the people who have hurt me in the past, but today I said enough. I set aside my ego, just sent all the love, healing to them as well as myself, letting it go. Rachel, well, we always love how beautiful and vulnerable you all are here, but this is why the co-creation aspect of the live stream is my favorite, because it's the comments like these that just spark something in me that's like, yes, okay, let's talk about sending love and healing to people or to yourself. Neptune and Pisces is all about universal love, higher love. And with Venus trine Neptune today, just this one side of the Grand Trine, universal love, unconditional love, compassion can come through very easily. So lean into that too. Like, let it be easy today. Let it be easy today. Today's not a day to try to prove your point. We had that energy. We'll probably have that energy again. It's Scorpio season. Okay, Mercury's in Scorpio. People are really cutting deep. But today is the day to just remember that we're all capable of unconditional love. We're all capable of universal love. And even if you can't find that for someone else today, I get it. Find it for yourself by setting some boundaries or just being like, you know what, I'm going to take my space and do my creative flow today. But it should feel easier to give people love today and to align with that higher understanding that we are love. Love is only real. That's it. Love is energy. So when we are resentful or when we are angry, it's the absence of love that we're feeling, right? Love, love, love today. Love and flow, my keywords that I just keep saying over and over again. So that's the main energy we're feeling. And I could go on and on and on about the positive potentials of this grand water trine. I am loving it. Now let's talk about the waning gibbous moon in Gemini. So we're coming off of that full moon lunar eclipse energy. And as we talked about at the beginning of the show, the Gemini moon really helps bring in a mental component to our emotional processing. So journaling or speaking are great ways to process our emotions. And as we've been talking about with all this creative energy in the skies, creative writing or poetry, or even singing, using your voice, using your ability to communicate, but adding in that creative element can feel really cathartic. We're in the releasing phase of the moon. This is the time to kind of go within and process a lot of the things that might have come up during that eclipse. So finding a trusted person to share with, but more importantly, like just expressing through your own communication style that you're most comfortable in. Remember, it's supposed to be easy today. So writing, singing, doing something that feels good to help you process some of the stuff you're still working through. At 5 a.m., the moon formed a sextile to Chiron. And this, of course, Pacific time, as always, you can see the moon currently right at this hour at 15 degrees in Gemini. But when it was at 12 degrees early this morning, it had this nice 60-degree angle going to Chiron. This brings another element of healing in. The moon and Chiron supporting one another, Chiron being the wounded healer, representing our deepest wounds and also our ability to heal them. So with this support between the moon and this very processing phase right now, the realizations we're having, the aha moments we're having, the creative insights that are flowing through can be very healing today with this nice connection to Chiron. So that's positive. We love that. Actually, we're only talking about positive aspects today. This is why there are no coincidences. The universe might have put you through the ringer over the past couple weeks, but this is like the reward we get a day like today for just surviving eclipse season. The last connection we'll talk about is at 5 p.m. So this evening, Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, the moon and Saturn will lock into a trine of their own. So not necessarily playing into this grand trine, but making that same angle to each other, that nice flowing, easy angle to one another. So I'll jump ahead so you can actually see that here. You can see we have this grand trine, that dark blue triangle, and then another little trine here between Saturn in Aquarius and the moon in Gemini. Now, Saturn, Saturn's normally like, okay, lessons, doubt, negativity, but in this really beautiful, fortunate angle, Saturn can help us get a little more grounded, slow down, act with maturity, act with responsibility, maybe even with the moon in Gemini, communicate with a little bit more maturity, or I feel wisdom coming through with this. The moon in Gemini really activating our mental state, Saturn being this wise energy, this father archetype. It's like wisdom can come through, or maybe you're having conversations, these cathartic conversations with someone who does have a little more experience than you, who is a little bit wiser than you, and something they say this evening lights something up in you that's very healing or helps you understand things a little bit more easily. So Saturn is actually helping us out today. I know yesterday Saturn was squaring all these other planets, and Saturn is still squaring the sun right now. We'll dive into that tomorrow. That's the main transit we'll be talking about, Saturn squaring the sun. So yes, there is still an element of lessons being learned and responsibilities being realized, things like that. But it's nice that the moon is making this supportive connection, because it is helping us in a way use that serious Saturn energy to process maybe the more creative, fluid, flowy things that we've been talking about with this grand trine. Really solidify things, it feels like, especially with the moon and Saturn both in air signs, which represent intellect and communication. It's like taking all of this watery, creative, emotional energy we talked about with the Grand Trine and helping us bring it up almost to our mental state and process it in a way that makes sense. Saturn wants things to be logical and make sense. So taking the feeling and making it fact, if you will. I use the term fact loosely, but I think you get I think you get what I'm getting at. Yeah, a sense of Saturn supporting you. Of course, Saturn is your ruling planet too. So it's nice when it feels like Saturn is on your side specifically, Katie. But yeah, Saturn, we talk about how difficult Saturn can be, but ultimately Saturn is here to teach us lessons. And the more open we are to those lessons, especially with Saturn in Aquarius, the more we can expand our perspective and open to new information, the easier it's going to be to understand why things are happening the way they are. No negative waves, man. Is this a song? Oddball and Kelly's Heroes? I mean, I'm feeling the no negative waves, all positive today. And just a reminder, like, even if, of course, the transits don't define our every experience, they're just a reflection of the energy that we are feeling. But even if things aren't going perfect today, this Grand Trine and all of this positive energy we're talking about is just that reminder that, like, the energy you put out, the vibes you're feeling are what you attract too. So if you are able to easily flow into that nice, positive, fortunate state, your experience is probably going to be a lot more positive too. So take advantage if you're feeling the good vibes. I have Mercury in Aquarius. Maybe Saturn will help me communicate my ideas and insights. Yeah, I think definitely, especially with what we were talking about with the Gemini moon, like Saturn can definitely help us communicate wisdom too tonight. So maybe someone's coming to you for advice. That could be a byproduct of this trine between the moon and Saturn. Let's come back to our affirmation of the day. I am a creative force. We got a Grand Trine in water signs. Today is the day to tap into that power and remember that humans, yes, we're here to be, we're here to experience, but we're also here to create. There's this kind of phrase that's been going around for the past couple of months, or that I've at least seen on social media for the past couple of months, that it's like human beings are called human beings because we're just supposed to be. We're not human doings, we're human beings. We're just supposed to be. But I think that discounts the fact that humans are creators. We come here to create, not just like to birth and create and, continue the creation of our species on a very basic, primitive level, but also think about how much humans have created here on the planet, all the way back, to like the pyramids are a great example. All the things that, well, if you believe humans created the pyramids, if you know what I mean, getting real woo-woo today, but I digress. Humans have been creating for our entire history, even creating the wheel, creating, homes for ourselves. So being here on Earth is a creative experience. We came here to be able to work with the 4 elements and create things with them. And we all have that within us. Even if you don't think you are an innately creative person, you have a special spark and a special gift within you that wants to be expressed and turned into something different. Scorpio season's a great time to alchemize and create, to be able to turn one thing into another thing and really play into that creative energy. We should have had a word count of how many times I was going to say flow, creativity, and love today, because that's what just keeps coming out. All right, everyone, we are going to close out with a card pull from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. Today's a day to just remind each of us and remind each other of our ability to seed light on this planet, to share light with other people. You're here for a reason. And even if you haven't quite figured out exactly what that reason is yet, tapping into creativity could be a great way to play into it today. So, you know the drill, my friends. As I'm shuffling up these cards, this is your chance to ask any questions, share any insights or intentions you have for the day today. Let me know. Are you starting to feel the tension from the eclipse easing up a little bit? That T-square kind of softening a bit that we talked about yesterday. I also love that, yesterday was all about the T-square pattern, quite possibly the most difficult and volatile pattern that we see in charts, in astrology charts. And today is about a Grand Trine, the most positive, easy aspect we see in charts. So that's the duality of life, right? One day it's difficult. The next day we can breathe a little easier. Okay, speaking of breathing, if you're joining me live or if you're finding this video later, let's just all take a moment to take a deep breath together. And as we do that, Katie added to the chat, compassion for all, including myself. So let's breathe into that. Breathing in compassion, nice and deep. And then releasing that compassion and sending it to someone else in need. And with this love, what do we need to know? Warrior Woman is the card that came through. I love this card. Have you answered your deepest calling? Ooh, such a good card. Let me find it in the guidebook. But already this feels like Lilith vibes. Have you answered your deepest calling? Lilith is that like feminine warrior archetype too. Okay, here it is. Warrior Woman. The first line says, you are here for a reason. Confirmation. You are being called to bravely pave a path. Have you answered your highest and deepest calling? Living a heart and soul-led life is not all fluffy and smooth sailing. Living a heart and soul-led life requires courage to triumph over fear. So often our fears are the gatekeepers of our greatest gifts. And the more resistance we have toward answering a call, the more important it is to our soul's growth. Sometimes fear is an indication that we are facing the right way. Joan of Arc was known for her courage and her famous line, I am not afraid. I was born to do this. Ooh, full chills. But the thing about courage is that it is not possible without fear. So if you are feeling afraid, what is needed is courage, and courage comes from living from the heart. Think of your fears as opportunities to expand rather than things that are holding you hostage. If you look at your fears in this light, then as uncomfortable as it might feel, it's actually a sign that you are on the right track. Have you answered your deepest calling? So beautiful. So perfect for today after this intense lunar eclipse in Taurus during Scorpio season, the T-square we talked about yesterday. A lot of fears have been coming up for many of us. I know we've been feeling that, but today's Grand Trine and today's card are here to remind us that fear can act as a compass. Sometimes what we're most afraid of is calling us most deeply. So tap into that inner warrior within you and face your fear with courage. Face your fear with creativity too, and see what magic can come from putting yourself out there and boldly braving the path ahead. So powerful already. Yeah. Feel like it's a clarion call to our purpose and evolution. Absolutely. Be brave. Have your water bottle with you. Nick talking about how this is the example I gave yesterday of fear coming up for me. I was, traveling solo on a train into the Bay Area, and I was getting all these fears coming up and I had my water bottle like ready to defend myself. So silly. But yeah, it's a great example. Like I was fine. I was supported. I was guided. It was all good. Yeah, very on point. So much gratitude to you, Bree. Always believe in yourself no matter what. Something I've been really trying to lean into. Yeah, because if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to, right? And remember what we talked about, the energy you put out is the energy you receive. So if you're like, I have this idea and I believe in it and it's going to be amazing, you'll start to notice other people are like, that's a great idea. I believe in your idea too. Let me open this door for you and give you a platform for your idea. Let me give you this resource that might help you make it a reality, So believing in yourself, finding that warrior within to be brave. Love that line about fear pointing you in the right direction. It doesn't work to avoid it, transforming as we face it. And this is a great point on the other comment that you shared with feeling like Saturn is supporting you. Sometimes Saturn is bringing up those worries or those fears to show us like, hey, this is the lesson you need to learn to keep moving forward, to keep braving that path. Today's a good day, my friends. Today is a very good day. Well, that was such a fun conversation to have with you all about this very fortunate transit. A few housekeeping items as we wrap up here. We have 2 more days of the 5 days of giveaways that I'm doing over on Instagram. So let me share this with you. We haven't really talked too much about it since Monday, but let's see. Let me see here. We have 2 more days. So at the end of the day today, I'll be announcing the Thursday winner. Thursday's winner will get $22 towards merchandise from my website, thespiritualjournalist.com, or as I call it, the spiritual shop. So all you have to do to enter is go like this post, follow my accounts on Instagram, and comment below, and you could win $22 towards some fun spiritual merch. And then tomorrow's giveaway is the biggest giveaway yet. It's going to be an hour-long astrology reading with me. So excited to see who wins this. And we'll be announcing it tomorrow during our 11/11 live stream. So tomorrow's going to be a big day in this community that we've created together. 11/11 marks 1 year since I started The Spiritual Journalist, officially, my official launch date. So I'm really excited to be with you all, celebrate with you all, and thank you through these giveaways for supporting me along the way. Because as we talked about, believing in yourself, I had this vision. I believed in it, but I was skeptical if other people would also see the vision I have for what we're creating. And I'm just so grateful to each and every one of you who have signed on and full-heartedly supported what I'm doing. So yeah, I'll be announcing that on my Instagram stories later today. And yeah, tomorrow we'll be talking all about the energy of the 11/11 portal. And I think I'm going to do my first episode back with The Spiritual Journalist, 11 things I've learned in the past year since starting my own business. So it'll be a nice slow start to the new season of The Spiritual Journalist, but we got to celebrate on 11/11. We got to tune to the energy, the very potent energy of the 11/11 portal. Oh, well, I feel so grateful to be able to share with you all, and you all bring me abundance in so many ways too. So today's going to be a good day. Tomorrow is going to be a beautiful day, and I can't wait to celebrate it all with you all. If you are new here, welcome. Please go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel so you can support these free daily live streams that we do with the astrology forecast. Oh, we should all make a list for you of 11 things we love about the show. Oh, I love that. If you want to do that in the comments, I am totally open to it. As always, this is a co-creation, so that would be super fun. Yeah, I'm trying to just, flow. As much as we talked about flow today, letting things unfold, letting things transform. I will try not to spam the comments. Spam away. I mean, if it's things you love about the show and about me, spam away. Just kidding. All right, everybody. That is going to do it for this episode of Transits today. We will be back tomorrow morning with the forecast and with a new episode of The Spiritual Journalist following up the forecast. Lots of ways to connect, and I hope to see you there. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Jupiter day. We didn't even talk about how it's Jupiter day, the most abundant day. We have this very abundant transit. We're feeling all the Jupiter positive vibes today. I hope to see you tomorrow, but until I see you next, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the spiritual shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website.
But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.